you need me?
We will. We're working on getting the screen, so we'd love to. Thank you. All right, actually, sure. You want to?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
You're with CT.
Yeah, with West Hartford Community.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
So my name is Nild, and we're here live. So congratulations. Did you win today?
I don't know. The polls are just closing now, so I'm feeling good about it. But we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But I'm feeling confident. Ran a good campaign. Had a lot of great volunteers and a lot of door knocking and listening.
Sure.
Yeah.
So if indeed you do win, what issues are you going to try to push for? What are the things that are important to you?
Yeah, we have a lot of challenges in this state. We've made a lot of progress. I mean, I think we made a lot of progress in making the state more affordable over the last few years. The largest middle-class income tax cut in state history, expanding debt-free community college. So we're going to look to continue to ways to make the state more affordable for families. Energy prices are a big challenge. Continuing to invest in higher education, expanding the on-ramp for higher education. I've been Senate chair of the Higher Education Committee, so I know that that's really important for economic development and job growth in the state. And then a lot of it also depends on what happens nationally. Like, are we going to have to defend Connecticut against a White House, that doesn't necessarily share our values? So, that's going to be a real challenge. We know last time that Trump was in office, he raised all our taxes with the SALT changes, right, and some tax exemptions. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But I'm ready to work hard no matter what happens and listen to constituents and, help advance their priorities.
Now, and you mentioned a couple things if there was one thing you could do in your next few years, what would it be?
Yeah, so, I think that we need to really make important investments in the workforce, including our nonprofits that also oftentimes fall behind, and they are having a really difficult time providing important services. So I would, say them, higher education, all is about job growth and strengthening our economy.
And looking back, you mentioned several things. What's your proudest moment in the last few years?
Well, I guess I would say two things. I've had the honor of being in office since 2019. I won in a special election. First, I'm going to say I'm probably one of the only members of the General Assembly, I mean, I don't know how many precisely, but that put my cell phone out on every single piece of mail, every single piece of correspondence. I get back to everybody personally, email, cell phone. I don't care what party you're in, whether you voted for me or not. I'm going to bust my hump to work hard and get back to you and make sure that your voice is represented. So that's first and foremost. I'm really proud of that. It takes a lot of time, but it's worth it, and it's what the office is all about. And then I guess the second thing I would say is that I'm really pleased I was able to tackle some tough issues. One, the gender wage gap, which still persists, and making sure that women are paid, a fair wage for the same job as men. That was one of the first bills I introduced. It took me about to get it passed. Ultimately, we passed the bill 142-4 in the House, 35-1 in the Senate, and we became a national leader in really making sure that women are paid fairly. And so really proud of that and hope to be able to do more work like that.
Yeah, you said you gave out your number. Was there somebody that called you and you felt like, wow, I made a real difference in this individual's life?
Absolutely, it happens all the time. I mean, some of the bills, like the one I just mentioned about women in pay, age discrimination is another bill that I was able to get passed. Those ideas come from constituents. It's not just like I'm sitting around in my office and say, I want to do this. They come right from people who have real life concerns. So legislation is a piece of it. But boy, I tell you, through the pandemic, there were so many people who needed help, whether it was with the Department of Labor, unemployment benefits, their small business, who just needed somebody in state government to pick up the phone, listen to them, and then get them help, like to navigate that bureaucracy. And that's a time where, we had a great responsibility, people who were in office. No time to drop the ball, no, half measures. You have to be there for your constituents. And so I'm very pleased that we were able to work together and do that.
What are your thoughts, or why is it important? There was a write-in for being able to absentee vote.
Right.
Tell me about that, and if you think it's important and why.
I do think it's important. If you look at voting, we want to make it as easy as possible while, of course, making it as safe as possible, right? And maintaining the integrity of the system. Right now, Connecticut is an outlier and in a bad way when it comes to voting. We're one of the only a handful of states in the country that doesn't have no excuse absentee and early voting. And part of that is because of the way our state constitution is formed, where we have to amend the state constitution in order to enact some voting reforms. So, I mean, it is blue state, red state, you name it. There's states that are doing a lot more to make it easier for their constituents to vote. So early voting was a great thing that we had this cycle, and boy, it was, I mean, a huge success. And so the next step is this no excuse absentee ballot. And so we'll have to see if people pass it, approve it, and then if so, what they're really doing is giving us the ability, us in the General Assembly, to then come in and change the state constitution in a very narrow way, but to allow for this no excuse absentee ballot. And just the last thing I want to say is I just think it's respectful of where our constituents are. They have busy lives, they have children and sporting events to bring their kids to, you name it, multiple jobs, right? Health and sickness issues, just life is crazy sometimes. And we just want to make sure that people can exercise their vote.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything I should have asked you that I didn't, that you want to tell the people of West Hartford?
I guess one thing I would just add is that I think it's critical that we practice, a civility in politics. And I lament the fact that over the last few years, and I would certainly hold former President Trump accountable for this, is that I think he's changed the way that we talk with each other and about each other for the worse. And I just think I want to get back to, we can have partisan disagreements, of course, like that is so healthy. We need to be able to work together across the aisle. Those are my greatest kind of legislative joys in the General Assembly, is working bipartisan fashion to advance things. And I hope that after this presidential election, maybe the fever breaks and we can go back to a time where we can talk to our neighbors, in a civil way and work together to help the country and help our community.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate
it. All right.
All right.
All right. Huh? Yeah. All right.
You're on TV.
I know. Let's
go this way a little bit. No, we want you. You're more. All right. Okay. All right. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Did you win today?
I did win. Well, we still haven't gotten the results, but I was unopposed. So yes, I believe I won tonight.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you tell me, as moving forward, what are the most important issues that you want to work on? What are your priorities in the next couple of years?
So my top issue is the state budget. I truly believe that it's not an either or. We need to adjust the fiscal guardrails in order to be able to invest in our state services. I continue, hopefully, to chair the Human Services Committee, so looking at how we support and fund our Medicaid program, and then continuing to protect women's health and safety.
And looking back over the last couple of years, what are you most proud of?
I think based on, what's going on across this country, we've given many Connecticut residents peace of mind by protecting access to abortion care, reproductive health care, and gender-affirming care here in the state. I'm also proud of the work I've done in the Human Services Committee, trying as best I can under these current fiscal restraints to support our services.
And you don't have to mention names, but was there somebody that came to you for some guidance or some help and you were able to provide, could you tell us a little story about an example of something that just made you feel good?
Yeah, sure. I mean, my favorite part of the job is actually meeting with folks for whom if something kind of awful happened, their reaction is to try and pass public policy. And so was able to help an individual from West Hartford work on the insurance industry. She has a rare disease, and there are these things called copay accumulators, and so we were able to pass a law so that the copay accumulator couldn't be applied to her high deductible.
And there was a write-in on the on the ballot this time. I'm sorry. For being absentee voting.
Yes.
Could you tell us about that and if you think it's important? Why?
Sure. So yes, there's a question on the ballot, and hopefully folks voted yes. Currently, Connecticut has, I believe it's 7 reasons why you can use an absentee ballot. And so if folks did vote yes and it passes that ballot question, then the legislature can work to pass a law to allow absentee ballots for any reason. And I think it's incredibly important because we actually saw this election with the first early voting that nearly 1 million residents used early voting. It's important for folks to have many different ways to be able to exercise that right. And this is just another step in that direction.
And is there something that we didn't talk about that you think it's important for West Hartford voters and residents to know about?
I just think it's important for West Hartford residents to know that we are one of the highest voter turnout towns again this year, and that's a testament to the people of West Hartford and how they do pay attention to their democracy and are engaged, and so I just want to thank them for continuing to do that.
And there's some people talk about, I'm maybe too old to take advantage of some of these things, but I'm kind of voting for my children. Do you have that feeling as you vote or as you create legislation?
It's interesting because as my kids get older, I get that sentiment. When I was younger, I would hear people say that and kind of think, how are you not just voting based on your own? But so yes, certainly still as a woman, I'm voting based on my own interests. I now, as a state representative, am thinking about the community, but yes, as a mother of a 15-year-old son and a 12-year-old daughter, I'm thinking about what I'm doing and building and leaving for them as they continue to grow. So yes, certainly.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We spoke to this guy, but we want to talk to somebody important.
Okay.
So you came to...
This is my guy.
My name is Nild, and we're doing a little streaming for... I danced with you a couple of years ago. Blue Back Square. I'd like to do this tonight, but I hope I'm dancing.
I know. I cannot see a thing. I don't know. I said I can't see a thing. I'm not sure. Okay.
You can dare even look at me if you...
Okay. Oh, sure.
It's good to talk to the audience, but... All right. Well, congratulations, I think.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So what are the most important issues for you in the next few years? What do you really want to go after?
I'm really interested in looking at our affordability, something that I hear a lot about. A personal area that's also very important that I work around is children's behavioral health. I helped work on really important legislation 2 years ago. It was our landmark legislation, and it's about making sure the work that we put into that bill is implemented. And that's a lot of the work that I want to continue to dig into as well. And there's just so many various things that go along with. That's something that's important around, that impacts so many families. But at the same time, what we're talking about is looking at our Medicaid rates. I know that's kind of a very specific area, but we know that we need to bolster our workforce around behavioral health, mental health, affordability, and it just crosses into so many different areas.
So without, you don't have to mention names, but is there an example where you were able to help a child, help a family because of the work you did? Maybe they contacted you or you heard this story. Could you tell us a story about something that really made you feel proud that you're doing this work?
Well, one of the things that comes to mind is a piece of what we're looking at when looking at behavioral health is what we call parity, right? We treat our bodies as though our head up is not connected to our head down sometimes. And there were families looking for some help in a program called ICAPS, for instance, which is an intensive in-home treatment program, but it wasn't available to all families. And a part of what was happening is that we treated differently if you're a child who was on Medicaid, who may have been able to access services, and children under commercial plans who were not, which is something you might be surprised about. And what we were able to do was to expand this so that there would be some grant money and some funding available to families who may not access it, along with different information. And so I had a case in which a parent was incredibly grateful that her child could then partake of ICAPS and have that covered through a commercial insurance. But one of the things that I'm also really happy about is to see the rollout of our urgent crisis centers. We have 4 of them in the state, because we were having an issue with so many children in the emergency rooms, and really trying to find how we could best connect them to services, because children who are having behavioral health issues don't always need to be in the emergency room unless it's like they're a physical threat. And so what could we do if the crisis is starting and you don't think 211 or don't think to call 211, and we have places now 23 hours a day, 7 days a week, that one being at like the Village for Family and Children, where you can drive and take your child and get connected immediately to care, maybe offset an emergency room visit. So we've had several of those, many instances of that. So we're doing a whole lot in many, many areas, including in our schools, which is where the children are. So making sure the schools have what they need in order to be supporting our teachers, our families, and the students as well. So this is, yeah.
So there was an issue on the ballot for absentee voting. Could you talk a little bit about that, if you think it's important, or what's that about?
I think absentee ballot voting is really important. Anything we can do to get people connected with voting. We want this to be something in which people are empowered to partake, and there are instances where that may be the best strategy for an individual. I did hear someone speaking to me and said, look, this in-person early voting, it kind of covers all bases, and we will still have absentee voting, but it may be something that we need to expand. And so I think it's an important question to have. I'm very excited to hear what voters think of it, and I can just say what we've done so far has been really well received, and I think in West Hartford in particular, lots of wonderful feedback I've gotten about our voting process.
Anything else that you want to tell the residents of West Hartford that we didn't talk about?
I just want to say, as walking around and doing door knocking, one of the things that I thought was just really beautiful was to hear how people really love our community. I think West Hartford is an incredibly special community, not a perfect community, but it's a place that we're proud to be residents of, and I love that we have these real honest conversations, high level of engagement, looking at number 1, number 2 in the state to come out with early voting, and I just want them to know that we're here as a delegation. I'm certainly here to listen to questions, concerns, and I'm just honored to be given the opportunity opportunity to serve again.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Appreciate your good work.
Okay, what is this for? No one's coming in. Okay, and what are we talking about? Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'll probably ask you what do you want to do in the next couple of years?
Oh, gosh. Because you're assuming I already won? I suppose, yes.
All right.
Yeah. Am I looking at you or at the camera?
If you can stand it, look at the
Okay.
people at home, but
Okay,
it might be
I
a little
will.
bright. You
Okay. I can
then you're
switch
forced
back
to
and
maybe
forth.
look at
Okay,
me.
no problem.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
Let me know when we're up. All right. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So now you've got another term. Are there a couple issues that you really like in the future? You want to? Okay, I've done this, but let's do that in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think especially because I keep hearing from so many residents throughout the campaign on a daily basis, we have to keep working hard at making Connecticut more affordable. I do a lot of work, and I'm going to continue to make sure that we're fixing our upside down tax system. So fighting hard for a statewide child tax credit and really working on child care and housing issues. Those are really pivotal. And finally, also we want to protect our rights and freedoms here in Connecticut. We don't know how the national election is going to go, and we have to stay strong here on that. And I'll finally be working a lot on road safety and transportation issues so that we keep improving our communities so that they're healthy and safe.
You may not have a direct impact on this based on the committees you're on and stuff, but how about affordable housing? How does that fit in, and how can that happen?
Yeah, it's really pivotal. I have to say, I'm not on the housing committee, but being on the transportation committee, it comes up a lot because we want to make sure that a lot of the housing we're developing, especially here in West Hartford in the 20th district, is close to transit. There's several opportunities we have right here in Elmwood that we're trying to get more state money for so that we can keep building more affordable housing that's next to transit, so it's really a part of our community.
And looking back, what's maybe your proudest moment, the thing that you did? Wow, I was able to pull that off. I'm really. Tell me about that.
Oh my gosh. I think one of my proudest moments actually is legislation that I've been able to work with constituents on. A lot of constituents don't realize the best ideas come from them, and I work closely with the Nepalese community here in West Hartford, which is a big part of our community, to pass a piece of legislation to increase the number of languages that our driver's license exam is translated into. And so it really opens the economic opportunity for so many immigrants that come to our state, so that we're really a welcoming state.
So you don't have to mention names, but is there a story you can tell us about that kind of illustrates that a little bit?
Yeah, like I said, one of the things I heard directly from constituents, including our Nepalese families here, is they would come to our country. Obviously, we're starting their lives over again. and were really limited about what jobs they could take based on needing to get a license and not fully knowing the English language yet. And so this opportunity to change the law really allowed them to get that first job, start to get integrated more into our community, and really start to contribute in a much bigger way.
So on the ballot, there was a question about early voting. Absentee voting, I'm sorry. Could you tell us a little bit about that and what your thoughts are on it?
Yeah, well, so there was a ballot question around no excuse absentee ballots, it's called, which is a further expansion of our voting laws just so we can offer greater access. It's a way to make sure that you could request an absentee ballot no matter what the reason. And I think that plus early voting, which thankfully we have now, is a great way to just make sure people have options to exercise their right to vote.
And is there anything else you want to share with West Hartford residents that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, I would just say generally, like, for me, it's all about listening and collaborating and coming up with new solutions. So there is so much work we've done together, but there's a lot more to do. And I just hope we can keep making sure that we're staying focused on what West Hartford needs and how we can keep making sure that everyone in our community is truly thriving. Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you all. Yeah. Behind you, sir. Sorry. Hey, Roger.
Thank you. All right, let me know when we're raring to go. We're probably raring to go, but we got to actually.
Yes, we do.
All right. So you're still here. Excellent.
I'm still here. It's an exciting night, and I understand there was great turnout, and things have gone very smoothly in our community. And overall, it sounds like a few glitches around the state, but overall things have gone well. So
Yeah, we were out this afternoon and we were thinking, well, 40% have already voted, but so we're not. It's just going to be a trickle. But people kept going. Can you
Steady.
have a sense of how many people voted?
I know we're approaching a record, so that's great. And I was actually a little surprised at how many people were same-day registration and voting. I thought that was sort of like, okay, people did that with early voting and the registration going in because town hall was open. But there were a lot of people that came in. I don't have the final number, but I think we're going to be really impressed. We were second in early voting in the state, but percentage-wise for the community, we were a little bit lower, but it was really, really impressive. So
there are several legislators. What do you think are the most important things for legislators who represent West Hartford? What are the most important issues for them to go after?
Well, obviously, there are some unique budget issues with the state that impact all municipalities. So really important to municipal leaders is making sure that there is significant support for education, special education, Those are the biggest parts of our budget that really impact our community, and mill rates are what really drive our budget. That's the only revenue source beyond the state funding of education for us. So it's really important that that reimbursement stays very strong and that special education is looked at very closely, and that's really important. And the other things, we've got a lot of opportunity on infrastructure improvements, road safety improvements, and I think resiliency, sustainability, those things are going to be a priority for communities around the state and for us, and we'll be talking to our legislators about all of those things.
So looking back, the work that you were able to do with legislators that you kind of nudged along, what are you the most proud of the things that you did in the last couple of years?
I think, we did Vision Zero, and we've had a great partner in Safe Streets for All. We received a great grant for that, and we will be implementing, and we have already implemented a number of, it's approaching 80 improvements in our roads to make things safer for people. I will say the biggest thing for West Hartford has been housing developments. Our town has committed a good amount. We put $6 million in a housing fund for projects that have an affordability component and can't make their ends meet. And so we have some really exciting projects coming online. One is it's where the West Hartford Motor Inn was, and at Camelot, and it is a fully affordable, 100% affordable a development that is walking distance to West Hartford Center. And when you talk to business owners in West Hartford Center, one of the things they say is having workers close by is really important, and this could allow that to happen, and that's really important. None of the developments are that big, but that's a really, really great improvement. But we just received a couple of $1 million for the state to fortify some of the affordable, actually mixed income developments that we have coming online in town, which is really great.
And anything we didn't talk about that West Hartford residents and voters should know about that is happening, maybe around the idea of state support, but also your dreams?
So, my dreams are that we communicate well, we work together well. Hopefully we won't have pandemics and some other challenges, but challenges will come up. We know that, whether they're natural, it's a natural disaster that happens, or some other challenge that comes, and that we work together to make sure our communities are better equipped and better to handle what's next. We know that we are getting significant periods of drought and significant periods of rain, so we do have to build in resiliencies into our community. We're going to need state support for that. Improving transportation, not just road safety for all users, but also public transit, making sure that we make the connections where they need to be. We have been very bullish about a train station where the fast tracks are. We're on the plan for that, and that's an important piece, I think, to making sure that our community is connected to the Hartford line and making sure that there's access to New York and Boston for our residents. So,
I'm going to ask you one more question. Could you tell us a little story about something that you made happen for a citizen? You don't have to name names, but just like, wow, that made a real difference in that child or that person or that family.
There's a lot of stories. Some I can share and some I can't. Well, some are kind of personal and you don't want to reveal too much. But I would say, sometimes it's a business that is having a real problem with having their business get up and running because they've run into problems with permitting and sometimes it's a miscommunication between what the expectations were by the business owner and the construction company, and then so those things are can sometimes get out of hand, and making sure that they happen and align is really, really important. I will say there's a lot of young girls that have come to me to talk about issues that they're concerned about. I think especially now, and those conversations and those relationships are really important. Places maybe they hadn't seen a female mayor before, or somebody that they could relate to, and so that's been really exciting. I will say, even being at a championship game, whether it's a U12 team, or that is really moving to a lot of people. So a lot of ribbon cuttings that have made businesses welcoming significant businesses to, whether it's Blueback Square or our entertainment area here. All of those are transformational. But the biggest transformational changes and the things that we've worked very, very well is with developers, making sure that a development fits our community and serves the needs of future residents, and making sure that all of the pieces work for West Hartford, and the walkability in our centers, the desire to be within walking distance of restaurants and coffee shops and all of that is real at all ages, young people, older people, and everybody in between. So we've been making that happen, and I'm really proud of that work, and seeing new residents that didn't have an opportunity to move into town before and move into town. That is really transformational. So,
A lot to be proud of.
all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are you here for a few minutes?
Huh?
Are you here for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, let's grab you next. Here, why don't we, can you go over this way so we're here?
Wherever you want me to be.
Yeah. All right.
Just point me in the direction, I'll do it.
All right. So, let me know when. All right. So, Kevin Sullivan, great to see you.
Great
sir.
to see you. Good to be here.
So, there are a lot of issues to deal with in voting. What do you think are the most important issues that came up in this election?
I think the two most important, depending on who you are concerns about the economy, which is odd because I always tell people that it's hard to convince somebody of something. It's impossible to unconvince them. And people sort of got this idea a year and a half ago that things were bad, and they're still living with that. So that, and I think that the issue for women, the choice issue, Connecticut, we're an island of sanity, but for the rest of the country, it's going to be interesting. This is the most consequential election since FDR.
So you kind of mentioned this, but what do you think are the most important thing for the state legislators to do that are newly elected or re-elected?
To keep the fiscal discipline that's been in place. I think the governor has done a good job and the legislature's done a good job. I know that there's frustration with putting the money aside instead of spending it, but we are in so much better condition now as a state than we were even 10 years ago. So I think that's important for them to understand why those guardrails were put in place. And there's room for still, investing in things that matter.
Now, and looking back in your days, what are the things that you're most proud of? The things that I was able to do that. What could you name a couple of those things? We only have a couple hours, but I'd love to hear a couple of those things.
Yeah, well, I was very active on mental health issues, and we have Tammy Exum, who's really picked up that ball and run with it. I thought that was an area that nobody was focused on, and so we made a lot of progress in terms of getting insurance, frankly, to cover different forms of mental illness. The hardest decision was voting for the income tax way back in 1990, whatever that is. I don't think we answered the phone for a year after that. But I learned a lesson from that, and that was, if you're honest with your constituents and try to inform them as to why you're making the decision you're making, that makes a big difference. You know, don't try to straddle it. If you're going to make a decision, and then explain it. So that was a tough year. We were in session for an entire year. Had to come back and forth from vacation to vote every day. But the state is in much better shape now. I think Governor Lamont's done a good job. And of course, West Hartford, you can't ask for a better place. We're so wonderfully fortunate to live here and have what we have here. I saw the mayor earlier, and I always tell her that.
Anything else you think that West Hartford voters and residents that we didn't talk about should know?
Well, I mean, again, where we are tonight is witnessing the most consequential election since the Great Depression. And years ago, when Trump was first running, I said, watch out. Remember the lesson of Hitler, right? Oh, people said, don't take him seriously. He doesn't really mean that and blah, blah. Yeah, he meant all of that. And I think it's wonderful. One thing I'll say about West Hartford, this election, I have never seen such a spontaneous eruption of lawn signs. And I don't mean from the party. People going out of their way to order something, buy something, put something on their lawn. And I think that says a lot about the kind of community we're lucky to live in, that people really care about the future, really care about things. Happy to be here.
Excellent.
All right, Matt.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, my name is Milt Sansone. All right, so he's going to let us know when we're actually on.
It's going to go on West Hartford?
Yes. Yeah, well, I mean, you can talk about it. All right, so there's a lot of issues that are important to people, to voters. What do you feel are the most important issues at this time in the state?
Yeah, the most important thing, we have good school system in West Hartford, but we have to put more attention on that, on the schooling system, and put more attention on our children, and also bring some more businesses and a little more improvement in the traffic control.
And so, how about you're going to push for those things yourself? Are there particular things that are important to you and the communities you represent?
Yeah. The town council and so forth. I'm a big fan of education, so I mostly talk about education.
And in the past few years, are there the things that you're proudest of that you had a piece in? You could tell me a little bit about what you're the most proud of.
Yes, I think so. There's quite a bit improvement in there, and also in housing and the landscaping of West Hartford. Yes.
You mentioned housing. Is affordable housing? Is this something that you've had a hand in over the last few years to make happen?
More youngster is buying house in West Hartford. That's what I'm talking about. That's a good thing.
And so there was absentee ballot was on the ballot. Can you tell me about why that's important?
Because of people tight schedule, it helps, and especially for the housewives and the school-going children and so forth, it helps.
And is there a story you can tell me about that, some way that you saw that you affected a family that kind of warmed your heart? Like, you don't have to mention names, but something that you really had a hand in that helped these people.
On and off, sometimes got into that, but not. I don't have anything specific. All right.
Anything else the residents and voters of West Hartford should know about?
Just to be humble to each other and to be cooperative with the town.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
All right.
I'll try not.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, if you can handle looking at me, that's all right. But if you can look at the viewer, that's great too. So,
All right.
Let me know when we're up. Okay.
Back. I'm doing all right because she got 59, I got 909.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So you're feeling confident about helping us out again.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
And looking forward, what are the most important things that you'd like to make sure happen?
What I want to make sure happen both in Hartford and West Hartford is affordable housing, and also transportation. Because once you have transportation, build the housing around it like we were planning to do. Now the folks that they have a better opportunity in getting a good job and still traveling without having to own a vehicle.
And looking back, is there something that you're really proud of that you kind of helped make happen?
Yes. So there was the paid sick leave. All right. I think that's important, and not only important just because individual can take time off when they're not feeling well, but it's also important in a larger view when it comes to the health of everyone else. We don't want to create another COVID scenario, epidemic, because somebody came in sick with some kind of special disease. Next thing you know, it starts spreading around because they didn't have the chance to stay home and get paid.
And is there a story about that where you saw an individual where it really made a difference in their lives? You don't have to mention names, but kind of tell us a story about somebody that you saw really helped by what you do.
Yeah. So I have a friend, okay, whose mother, she really didn't know her rights. She didn't know enough English and to be able to read the laws or the bills. And when they reached out to me, I explained to her what's going on. They took advantage of that, and the mother was fairly sick. She had cancer, and she had to go through the treatment. But because she was able to take the time off and get paid, then she was able to, get that treatment, get better. Okay, not that it was something that can spread to others, but she was able to survive and keep her home, keep food on her plate, because that's another piece of it.
Excellent. What are your thoughts that there was on the ballot about absentee voting? And you think that's important, or?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I would like to see as far as absentee voting is mobile voting. I'd like to be able to get Connecticut Transit involved, get the governor to agree that we can hire Connecticut Transit and get mobile voting throughout the communities, especially where we have our seniors and our younger generation that don't like to drive any vehicles, but put these booths in there and get the moderator in each bus and just drive around and make sure besides the early voting, let's make it mobile voting as well. Make it convenient so that our seniors don't have to worry about getting a taxi or making a phone call to get a ride and worrying about not having the opportunity to go out and vote.
So, is there anything that you feel is important for the residents of West Hartford and Bloomfield Hartford, but maybe focus a little bit on West Hartford that you want them to know about your next few years?
Well, my next 2 years will be to work with the West Hartford delegation and to take advantage of the opportunity of building affordable housing. Affordable housing doesn't mean, low-income housing. Affordable housing is for our children that at this moment aren't able, even with a decent job, afford a 2 or 1 bedroom apartment. The 1 and 2 bedroom apartment right now, they're going for approximately $1,800 to $2,400. That's a mortgage on the house, in my opinion. So it's extremely important to understand that affordable housing is not really low-income housing. It's housing so that our children, the last couple of generations, are able to live and have a roof over their heads and still maintain a job. And then hopefully from there they can become a homeowner. But I think that's the number one priority that we should be looking at. We set aside $800 million for affordable housing. So unfortunately, the affordable, the word affordable housing doesn't have that kind of it doesn't sound right to some folks, right? But it's not low-income housing. It's just something where everyone is able to have a place to call home.
Thank you so much. And almost congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Nope, they're doing me. You're next.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm the town chair. You're going to be interviewed next. Go.
Oh, man. We're in trouble now. He's not going to invite us back.
I know. I'll invite you back. I just wanted to get under his nerves. That's why I shoot him away. I'm sorry. What's your name again?
Nild Sansone.
Nild. Okay, John Lyons.
Yeah. Good to see you again.
Member of the DTC, if you want to use the title.
All right.
And host, one of the hosts of the WeHow Roundtable on WHCI. So.
All right. So, a lot of issues this year. Why did you go vote this year?
Well, I voted because I care about our country. I care about women. and I care about democracy.
And so were there particular issues that were important to you?
Yeah, like number one, respecting the Constitution is top of mind. Respecting a woman's right to choose was very much top of mind. And, you know, I voted for Harris because I believe Harris, A, is better qualified to be president, but also B, will protect our Constitution, protect our democracy, and protect a woman's right to choose.
And here in West Hartford, several legislators being reelected, and some others we don't quite know yet, but we're certainly hoping. What do you hope that is on there? What are their priorities for them, do you think?
Well, I mean, each one has kind of their projects that they're very passionate about, and we're really lucky because of that, because it kind of gives West Hartford a real presence at the State House. Like, for example, Tammy has done so much with mental health. Tammy Exum, who is in the 20th. I want to make sure I don't get these districts wrong. No, 19th district. I live in her district, and I can't keep them straight. But she does a fantastic job with mental health, with the health and welfare of our school children. She's done amazing work. Sadly, her husband, very dear friend, Earl, passed away a year ago, and she's now doing work about heart health that's really helping to raise awareness. It's possible for people to get tested at a very low cost for the heart issue that was the cause of her husband's sudden passing. So that's an example.
Sure. And how about yourself? What are you most proud of that you kind of nudged along with, you know, you're giving yourself a voice, but others a voice?
Well, I don't, you know, I'm just happy to be in the background. I do serve on zoning, and I serve on a couple of other commissions, but zoning is something I really enjoy, watching kind of the formulation and the beginning and the hatching of plans to do some development. And I cannot speak highly enough of Sherry Cantor's leadership in our town council, particularly when it comes to building housing, getting affordable housing passed, building multifamily units, and really prioritizing an area that is very efficient to build in this economic climate. It's not really efficient to go out and build houses right now. What makes sense with what it costs to build, and in this climate, is to build multifamily units. And they're doing it. They're doing it in spades, and it's really, really working out for the community. Increasing our tax base, bringing middle income people to town, giving some lower income people some affordable housing. It's really a win-win every way you look at it.
Anything else that you think the voters and residents of West Hartford should know about, well, particularly about the state folks that they voted for today? Anything that comes to mind?
Look, each and every one of them truly care about the community. They truly care about our state, and they truly care about our country. Each of them have their passionate issues that they're advocating for, but each one of them is working for the people of West Hartford and for the people of Connecticut, and really working in their best interests. There's not enough of that going on right now anywhere, as we see on the national stage, and we're really lucky that we have such dedicated and passionate people representing West Hartford.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Man. Appreciate
Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions if I can. So you probably voted. Why did you vote? Why is it important to vote?
Because it's our civic duty. It's just that simple. I mean, men, women, animals have died to have the right to vote. And I kid a little bit, but no, this is very important, and voting needs to be part of your person, of who you are.
And there's several legislators that are hopefully all reelected. Are there issues that you think important for them to be working on in the next several years?
I think you're going to have a lot of people talk about the guardrails and the budget. And I know our legislators want to see those guardrails to be a little more flexible. and to allow for spending to go to those priorities that are being hindered by the fact that we have some very bipartisan, strong guardrails to the budget and spending.
So you're a little bit in the background, but are there things that you're really proud that you kind of nudged along in the last few years?
I think we, as a town committee party, we've done a really successful job in running new people in and getting people into office, whether it's in the council, we have new folks in the Board of Ed, and all these folks, they have a real passion for public service. So I'm kind of proud of that. The fact that with Mayor Cantor and her crew, and then Lorna and the Board of Ed, that everyone's really caring and working hard.
And is there, you've seen these people. Are there things that you've seen that you're really proud of? And I kind of asked you that question, but are there things like, wow, our senators really pulled this off?
I love our Trout Brook Trail. I mean, it is the best thing in the world. You just drive down Trout Brook and see everyone taking advantage of it. And then you have 3 developments in eyeshot of each other where you have different scales of housing right in our downtown area. And that's smart growth, and that's really what West Hartford has always been, is focused on growing, but growing smartly and making sure everyone participates in the conversation.
And anything else that the residents and voters of West Hartford should know that we didn't talk about?
They should be very proud of who is representing them. The Connecticut delegation at the House and the Senate at the Capitol worked tirelessly for the voters of West Hartford, whether it's Derek Slapp, Tammy, Kate, Jillian, Bobby Sanchez now, and Bobby Gibson. Everyone is working for us and have a good result at the time of the crunch.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work. Be proud.
Thank you.
Good evening, Democrats. Good evening, John. Hello, Democrats. We're going to start our speaking program in a second. We're just rounding up some of the candidate elected folks that we worked so hard to get across the finish line. I'm just going to take a few minutes to thank a couple people that really made a difference in this campaign, which was one of the strangest cycles, I think, presidential cycles that I think anyone in this room have witnessed firsthand. But with that said, our town committee did an incredible job of using its tools and resources to keep West Hartford aware of the difference in early voting, and also with the amount of effort it takes to do early voting. And I just want, before we jump into anything, a special thanks needs to go out to Elizabeth and her team in the registrar's office. They did an incredible job. And I'm just going to let Mayor Cantor just say a few words because she saw them firsthand.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Congratulations to an amazing team of public servants and elected officials. I do want to say that so much happened behind the scenes on early voting, and so much happened today. There was actually, I think we hit a record with same-day registration and voting on presidential election day, which really we thought would not be a dynamic today. But it has been really challenging to make sure things go so smoothly, and I heard so many positive things, but also to secure the ballots and make sure that people were getting the answers they needed. And our registrar, Elizabeth, did an amazing job. Every one of those team members, like John said, they deserve so much recognition from us, and we can all thank them. But I also want to give a special shout out to our town clerk. A lot happened. Absentees were very, very high as well. This was a big operation. A lot of towns took it on, really well, but West Hartford's one of the bigger communities, and really what the challenge was there. We also are one of the most engaged communities, and I'm so proud of all of the work that they did. I'm so proud of everybody that voted, and I'm really, really just grateful to everyone that stepped in and helped with all of these campaigns, and obviously the other campaign out there that we find out about soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to run through just a few names that played an integral part of our success during this campaign cycle. I just, first of all, want to thank Megan and Peter. They are the ones behind the curtain, making sure everything actually works, and I don't screw up any more than I have to. And then there's our social media group. I don't know if anyone noticed, but we crushed it in terms of social media, using Facebook, using Instagram, using, Twitter, not X. But that team that Adam led and Peter was on and a few others, Tiffany, they just did a tremendous job because there was so much fresh content and so much information that they were getting out to the voters. So thank you, please. Woo! And yeah, always share, always heart, always like, all right? And then I'd like to say thank you finally to the district chairs who just did a tremendous job motivating their members and getting them out there. Without you guys, we don't function, so thank you very much. But speaking of we don't function without this person, where's Peter? Right here. Jesus, he scared me. Let's hear it for Peter.
I just wanted to say we all know the importance of this election and that democracy is on the line, and West Hartford Democrats answered the call. I am so proud of so many people who went down to Pennsylvania, took an entire day off to go down there today, and I just want to recognize Rosemary Tate, one of our district chairs, who went down there today to knock on doors. I also want to give a shout out to Tiffany McGinnis, who went down to North Carolina for a week to organize and make sure that North Carolina goes our way tonight. And to everyone that made calls and sent texts to other states to make sure we win this election, I say thank you.
It's actually kind of amazing. We got Derek over here, we got Peter over here, and me. 2016, remember that? Yeah, you were very excited that night to get elected. Yeah, and then it all turned to shit. Oh, shoot, excuse me. With that, I'm just going to throw it over to Derek. We definitely have the best delegation up at the state capitol. They work so hard and are passionate and are just amazing. So I'm going to throw it over to Derek. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All right. Good evening, West Hartford Democrats. How are we feeling? Good? All right. Mixed feelings, I think, right? So let's, what they say, celebrate the wins, at least right now. So may I call your attention to this board over here, all right? This, up and down for all these incredible state representatives who you're going to hear from in just a minute. And I say this humbly as your state senator with about 67, 68% of the machines in West Hartford. This is a landslide because of you. So thank you. This is a landslide for West Hartford Democrats. So some thank yous. My wife Alex and son Charlie are here in the back. We all know, thank you for your sacrifices. Politics and public service is a family commitment, right? And so I'm grateful for all that they do to help. Daniela Luna, where is Daniela? Daniela is actually right in front of me. My legislative aide and also campaign manager. Terrific constituent services, Daniela. Thank you. Bob Facey, treasurer extraordinaire for a few cycles now. Where is Bob? He's in the back. Bob, as we all know, being a treasurer can be a thankless position, so I want to make sure that he is really thanked. And it's the tough work, but super important. And Dan Firestone, too, just still grateful for Dan for all his help. He was a treasurer for many cycles, so Dan, thank you for what you do. There he is. Is Jim Chapelain still here? Did Jim leave? Jim was here with his wife. Jim is a real local leader. He is the head of the local Indivisible Connecticut. And boy, boots on the ground, has done so much, just real organizing. And so if you don't, it's too bad that Jim left, but I wanted to give him a shout out as well. We have a lot of people in public service here as well. So I know members of our town council, of course, our great mayor, the best mayor in the entire state of Connecticut, Sherry Cantor. Thank you, Sherry. I see Deb here. Deb, thanks for your service. Deb, Ben Winograd is here as well. Carol is here. Barry is here. I know, I don't want to miss anybody. Board of Ed. I said Ben. Who else? Jason, where is Jason? Did Jason leave? I want to make sure, again, everybody that does this public service is recognized. Our great probate judge, Owen Egan, is right in front of me. Owen, thank you for what you do. So I know we have, is Stafford here? No? Okay. Lots of people to thank. I'm sure oh, there you are. So thank you for being, State Central. Okay, I'm going to hand it off in just a second, I promise. But I just want to say that, tonight can go one of two ways, right? And one way, and I'm not making this a prediction, but one way, we will all officially become part of the resistance tomorrow. Right? And we will have to fight so hard, and I know that all of us are up to the task of doing this, but to fight to stand up for Connecticut values and to stand up against a White House that in many ways does not share our values and that is going to be attacking our values. That is one possibility. It's not what I'm predicting. I am optimistic, right? I think nauseously optimistic is what some people were saying, right? Maybe that's an appropriate term. I've been thinking a lot about my girls today, who for the first time actually weren't out at the polls because they're off in college. And I remember in 2016 that feeling of just devastation and of disgust at what happened. They just couldn't believe that this incredible public servant, this strong woman who is so much more qualified and going to be a fantastic president, lost in 2016 to we all know who, right? And I tried to urge them, don't lose faith in this country. And remember that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice, right? Something we all believe in. I said, we got to keep at it. And this is going to happen. And like, this is gut check time. And so I am optimistic, and just as all you are, right, that we are all going to be able to go and return to Hartford and do our work and work with the Harris administration to stand up for women's reproductive health care, to stand up for our environment, to stand up for science, to stand up for love and decency and civility, right? To stand up for all the things that we care so much about. So I am grateful to be on this journey with you, incredibly grateful, and promise I'm going to work my butt off on your behalf and continue to listen and hopefully to make you all proud for another 2 years. Thank you, West Hartford Democrats. So thank you. I want to hand off to a fantastic state representative who has been a leader on so many issues in Hartford. She founded the reproductive bipartisan, well, I don't know if it is bipartisan. I was a little bit. But always willing to work across the aisle, but the Reproductive Caucus, among many other things, and chair of the Human Services Committee, my friend, a fantastic state representative, Jillian Gilchrist.
Thank you, Senator Slapp, and thank you all. I want to start with some gratitude as well up to my treasurer, who is not here, but Judith Lohman has been my dedicated treasurer for years now. So thanks to her. Thanks to Peter Andrews for continuing to pull my voter list for me, and Adam Rader for helping me with my social media. But to all of you, on the DTC who continue to put your trust and your support in me, coming out today to hold signs or make phone calls, but every single day, truly putting your trust in myself and all of us as leaders and your voice up in Hartford. So thank you to all of you. Also want to thank this amazing delegation who I have the honor of serving with in Hartford. We truly are quite the team, and folks know that the West Hartford delegation gets things done, and I feel so proud to get to serve with each and every one of them. This is a dream job for me, and so I truly appreciate the opportunity to continue as one of your state representatives in Hartford, getting to work on policies that impact the lives of West Hartford residents and Connecticut residents across this state. And I'll just say, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen tonight. And that's really hard. And I just hope it goes the way we want it to. And we can continue to move in the direction of a more just, equitable society where all people feel safe and welcome. So thank you. Oh, I'm gonna mix it up. Is that okay? I'm now going to turn it over to one of our newer parts of the delegation, who we are so proud to have with us, is Representative Bobby Gibson.
I thought this was going to be your time. West Hartford, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will say my toughest part was my primary. And it was very tough, and it got dirty. But just like West Hartford, I kept it clean. I kept it high, and I did speak and worked on the things that I accomplished myself. And along with my delegation, no one can say anything bad about our delegation. We keep it clean, we keep it high, and we do the work. One of my campaign slogans was, let's continue to work. And that's what we do. We do the work. We do the work. And so I'm just so proud to represent you. I'm so proud of who we are. Sometimes I have to fight the emotions because this work is emotional. We don't just do this work to have a title. We do this work because we care. We do this work because we want to make things better for people. And so I want to thank you for allowing myself and my colleagues to do the work for Connecticut, because it's important. There's people hurting, really hurting in our state, and they're needy. And we're here as their representatives and senator to make things better. So thank you so very much for supporting us so that we can do the work at the Capitol, so we can be superheroes and get this work done, because it's not easy. It is not. So again, thank you so much for your support and your efforts to help us out. John, where's John? I can't see you because you're the lights. This man right here, when I don't respond, when you call me, I don't text, I'm going through stuff, whatever happens, you never give up on me, man. And I appreciate it, brother. I really do. This is a great Democratic Town Committee chairman. Thank you so much, John. No, thank you. And let's go West Hartford. Let's go. Let's go to the state of Connecticut. Who am I introducing? Tammy Exum? I like that green jacket.
This is emotional work. I am just, first of all, would like to thank you so much for your encouragement. And I'd like to thank Tom Goodrum, my treasurer, who is phenomenal, and Evelyn, who's just walked in, who is treasurer junior as well, and Peter Andrews, who has been with me and by my side since starting this journey in 2019. So thank you so much. And I just really would like to thank you for the faith that you've had in me. I think it's really special to live in West Hartford, but the only thing more special than living in West Hartford is to represent West Hartford and Avon with me as well. But West Hartford is where I live and the people to whom I'm speaking tonight. And it has been really a difficult time, a really challenging time. And I had to really think about how to move forward after Earl's passing. And a couple of things I knew for sure was the outreach that I received from the community, but so many of you here who came by, who called, who encouraged me to continue if that's what I wanted to do. You've been here for me. This delegation behind me has really helped to hold up. And we were still able to do amazing legislation. We were still able to do something that in any other space I wouldn't be able to do, which was our supporting our Senate Bill 1, which included a coronary calcium scan test that we later found would have helped to save Earl's life potentially. And now that is something covered by insurance, a test I had not heard of before. And being in a role like this allows that, but it also allows us to continue to represent you and be an advocate for you. And I thank you for entrusting me at this time to continue to do this work. And I have to say, as far as looking at everything nationally, it's overwhelming to look at because there's so much on the line. But one of the things I have to say is I was really in a fog. I mean, just really difficult to move forward. And I remember the Sunday when Biden stepped aside and Kamala Harris was tapped to be in that place. And about 2 days later, I received a call from a reporter and said, what does it feel like to be an African-American female at this time? What does this mean for you? And I was like, you know, it feels like hope. It feels like hope. And this is the first time I have felt hope in a long time. And I wanted to go to the convention. All of a sudden, I said, I need to be there and bear witness. Being in that space was a gift for me. Regardless of the outcome, regardless of what maybe half the people may be thinking, I know what I experienced in that space. It was hope. It was all the things that we aspire for, and that's not going to be gone no matter what. And I took that with me, and I brought that back with me, and it's something that helped to raise me up through this time. So regardless of the national outcome, and regardless of what's happening in my life, I still choose to embrace hope. I still choose to embrace hope. And I think that is something that collectively, with all of us, with this fire in our belly, we will be okay. And I just thank you for your trust. Thank you so much. So Kate was with me in Chicago. That'll be my introduction. So from our 20th district, here's Kate Farrar. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Hi, friends. So nice to see you. And in the words, I would say, of the woman who is going to be our first woman president, I want to say, when we fight, when we fight, and that is the heart of, I know, Tammy's message and all of our message tonight. And I will say that I know regardless of the outcome, I join my colleagues in saying I am just so grateful that the voters of the 20th District and West Hartford and Newington have the trust and faith in me to continue into my third term in representing them. And there is so much work to do. We certainly have made progress in our town and in our state, but there is so much that we need to do together. And I know for myself and all of my colleagues, we can't do it without you. So I know sometimes we get to the point where, oh my gosh, we just went through this campaign, what's next? But I hope that you'll be with us side by side as we enter into the next legislative session and really partner with us to fight for what we know is critically important. And to bring it back to the importance of the day, I just want to acknowledge that today I had some very special occasions where I was able to engage with very excited and inspired first-time voters. And a couple of them was a couple, the Butas, who recently moved here in the last 10 years and became citizens. And this was their first election. And to see their pride in wearing that sticker and running over to me and wanting to take a picture, to me, it really embodies for all of us the pride that we have in our democracy. And that's what I know we're going to keep fighting for together. So thank you. Thank you. I want to thank my husband, Chan, for his unwavering support, and my campaign manager, Jennifer Smith, who's been with me from the beginning. Thank you, Jennifer. But again, we need you. We need each other. So let's not stop fighting for all that matters for our values moving forward. So on that note, last but certainly not least, our wonderful colleague Jimmy Sanchez.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. So it's an honor for me to be here right now. Because it's the first time for me to actually run a full election. Last year when it was a special election. I do want to thank both sides of the aisle, not the Republican, but Hartford and West Hartford, all right? And I want to give a special thanks to my treasurer, Noelia Ortiz, who's not here, but a special thanks to my rock, my wife, Jacqueline Nadal. And unfortunately, she's not here. She's still working with the numbers back in Hartford, and she still complains that she's not getting paid. But thank you for all your support. Thank you for your trust in me. I want to thank my colleagues for taking me into their arms because I'm still a freshman right now. Next year I'll be a sophomore, and I'm still learning. And although I'm new, I have been on council in the city of Hartford for 7 years and 2 months. And what I tell a lot of folks, a lot of my friends and family, that being on council in the city of Hartford is like being in boot camp in the Marines. If you can survive that, you can survive anything. And that's a fact. So I'm just going to end it with this. I'm very grateful. I'm very honored. And I am an American. I am a Marine. I'm a Puerto Rican and a proud one. And and an attack on one race is an attack on all races, on all of us. This whole room, I look throughout the room and I see and love the diversity that's here. And united is how we're going to conquer all this. And united is how we're going to win. Thank you. Have a good evening.
I wanted to do two more thank yous real quick, and I think it's most appropriate to have this at the end, in part because, you know, we're talking about the entire party here. Two people who really deserve a mention, great gratitude, because they built our party, West Hartford Democratic Party, into what they are, what it is right now. And the two people are sitting actually right in front of me, and it's Maureen Magnan, former great DTC chair, and former lieutenant governor, former state senator, and the godfather of West Hartford politics, Kevin Sullivan, who has been a mentor to so many of us. So just want to make sure that they get their thank yous. Thank you, guys. We wouldn't be here without your contributions. Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to our chairman for our last words of wisdom. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Don't want to get in the middle of the picture. All right. The cycle's over. It's been a long one. We don't know what's going to happen next day, 2 days, 3 days, who knows? But just be proud that everyone in this room did something. You didn't sit on the sidelines. You didn't just complain and just sit on your hands. No. Everyone in this room did something. So be very proud, and whatever happens, happens, but just know that you did what you were supposed to do as a good Democratic Town Committee member. So thank you all, and thank you. Have a safe night. What?
Have a safe night. That was good. That was good. Any food.
Can we do a quick interview? Thank you. All right.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Miss Adele, I don't have anything like formal. Can you get tulips? Something? Can I get this to you? We're like and where's the other one? Where's your sister?
She went to grab something out of the car.
Okay, so can you get us in what your priorities are. Let me know when you're ready. Hi, brother. Hey, man. Good seeing you, man. That's what I saw. No, she was before that.
I know we met before. What's your name?
Nild Sansone. Nild Sansone.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. We're going to... Do what? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me know when we're live. All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's great. So, as you look forward, what are the things that you really feel are important that should absolutely happen and that you can move along?
So as I was knocking doors this summer, a lot of our constituents, people in our neighborhoods, they're concerned about housing, affordable housing. So that's something that we need to really address. Actually, I spoke to the governor just the other day, and that's something that's high on his priority. People are optimistic about our country, but as far as the cost of living is concerned, taxes are concerned, like I just said, housing is something we really need to look into. And one thing that always is happening that we always got to stay on top of is education. I'm an educator, I'm a principal actually. And so since for years, we need to know how to effectively fund education so that all of our students are equitably served and get the quality education they deserve.
And as you look back over the last couple of years, what are you most proud of that you've accomplished?
It's a couple things. So right off the rip, when I first got elected, was I passed the Black and Latino History Bill, and I supported the Holocaust bill, so we know our history. I'm happy and so proud that I was able to do that. I have a program for the Greater Hartford area called Age in Place, so that our seniors can not have to go into nursing homes. They can stay in their homes, so they can age in place gracefully. So there's monies for that, so they can do upkeeps like updoing their bathrooms. Hey, I'm not. Am I a senior? I don't know. But I can't really step into a bathtub right now. I need a walk-in bathtub. And think about our seniors who need things like that, bathtubs, ramps. So I'm so proud of that. I was able to, in the past couple of years, really reach out and support our constituents, what they need.
And can you tell us maybe a story that kind of illustrates that? That's something that you did. You don't have to mention names, but tell us a story that might move us.
Well, it's a real story. I'll talk about my parents, and I'll talk about my aunt. And they're both, all three of them, both my parents and my aunt, God rest his soul, my uncle, her husband, is in heaven now, right? It was hard for them to even take a bath. Something as decent and basic as being able to wash your body, take a bath, was impossible for them. And that is for a lot of seniors. So something as simple as the Age in Place program, which I was able to get monies for, so that seniors could redo their bathrooms and do something as basic as that, is really important. And it's a thing of pride and respect and self-dignity. So, these are the things that, myself and the WEHA delegation, we work on, and I'm so glad that West Hartford supports us. I'm so glad that John, the DTC chair, supports us, and all of West Hartford supports us, because I have to say, we do the work. I'm glad that we're going to have another 2 years, and I just hope that we can continue to listen to our constituents, because we're representatives. Derek Slapp is the senator, but we represent our district at the Capitol for what they need. And I'm just so happy that God has given me the energy and the creativity and the intellect to be able to represent my constituents.
Excellent. And you're emotional about this. And what? Why do you do this? What moves you? What has it? What's the reward for you?
When I first ran for office, I just want to do some good stuff. A longtime educator, football coach. When I heard the position was being vacated, and I heard who was going to run for the position, to be very honest with you, some of my mentors, one of my mentors said, Bobby, that's too big for you. But I knew I could do it. And I would tell everybody, don't be discouraged. Go for your dream. Don't turn things down. If someone discourages you, but you can do it, go for it. Because I knew that I could help people. I knew that, again, I knew a lot of people. I had the intellect. I had the creativity. And it's a joy. It's a joy passing bills and helping people out. Now, everybody knows there's another side of politics I don't like. I don't like that. I like helping people. But I've learned through the help of my friends and constituents and my mentors to navigate the minefields so that we can all benefit from good legislation and not get buried in the weeds of politics. But as Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. I stay high. I stay high, and we get things done.
Anything else you want the voters of West Hartford, or all of the folks that you represent, anything else that we didn't talk about that you want them to know?
I want to encourage people to get involved in politics. If you don't want to run, just know what's going on. Whether it's one of the TV channels or going to a DTC meeting or a Republican meeting, right? Get involved in your community, because we need as a town, a community, as a nation, for people to know what's going on, because there's things that's happening that affects your life, that if you are not at the table, if you don't want to eat all the food, just dibble and dabble, but you got to be at the table to know what's going on. So I would encourage people to get involved, and especially our youth, our kids. Please get involved. Seek me out, seek anyone out if you want some advice on how to get involved, because I know our youth has a voice, especially our youth. I would implore you to seek us out, get involved, because right now we're in control of the world, right? But one day we're going to be like old, right? We need for them to be ready to take control.
All right, thank you. Congratulations.
I appreciate
Keep up
it.
the great work.
Thank you so much.